Hello, Matuji, and you're watching Hornbill TV's English News Bulletin. Amid protests by various organizations against illegal multiple taxation, extortion, kidnapping and life-threatening activities across the state, another incident has surfaced. On August 24, in Nakuti town, a pastor from Yanpa Baptist Church was allegedly assaulted by a caterer of the National Socialist Council of Nagaland, Kango. According to sources, an FIR has been filed against the accused at Newland Police Station. Incidents as such leaves us with that one question: how long will we Nagas live in fear of guns and threats? Today we have my colleague Akivito will be discussing on this issue, but before that, hello Aki, can you hear me?
Yes, good morning.
Alright Aki, before we proceed with the discussion here, first of all, for the viewers who are not aware of this incident, could you please give us some more details and updates if there are any?
Yes, Atu, like you had mentioned, it was quite an unfortunate incident. Well, we've seen protests that are happening over the past few months, and these are all due to the threats and the actions that have been committed by the Naga political group members. Well, unfortunately, in yesterday's incident, the Yanpa Baptist pastor was actually assaulted in Naukati. When Hornbill TV spoke to Yanpa village chairman, he informed that the pastor was actually on his way back to Yanpa, from his way back from Dimapur, and then he stopped in Naukati, and he had stopped in a bakery to actually get bread. But it was during this moment that 3 people apprehended the pastor, and it seems without any provocation, one of the members, who has been alleged as Akikevi, he was the one who assaulted the pastor, while the village chairman also mentioned that the other 2, along with the person who assaulted the pastor, had actually asked this person not to assault the pastor, but the altercation did take place. Then the news was then taken to the village council, and the village chairman of Yanpa informed that the Ralan area and the deacon body and the pastor bodies, they all held a meeting, in which after which they decided to file a complaint in the Newland police station. Well, some of the few demands that the village chairman has put forward is that this particular person who claims to be from the NSA and Kango group should be arrested within 24 hours, and that such strictest action should be taken. Well, there were 3 persons in the incident when the assault took place. The village chairman has informed that the FIR filed in Newland police station was just against the sole person who assaulted the pastor, and the FIR has not been filed against those 2 other persons. So that is the latest update, apart from which the NSA and Congo group in a press statement has issued that the employment has been terminated of Akikevi, and that press statement came from the group's Western Command. So that is the latest update. Well, we will be hearing more. The Lotha Students Union took the initiative and criticized and condemned the incident that took place at Naukati, and the Lotha Students Union too have asked for justice, and that they are hoping that the administration and the police will do their part and arrest the culprit immediately and charge him under relevant sections.
Alright, Aki, moving on, we do see such incidents happening here in Nagaland quite often, but do you think that they have decreased compared to how things were in the past? And what do you think has brought about those changes also, if there's any minor changes?
Well, whether it's decreased or increased, that will be hard to say, but people will agree to this point that such activities have regularly happened. Well, right. Such activities keep on happening. Some are reported, some are not reported due to fear, but we also see that there is this certain change in the concept of justice for the Nagas. Well, the concept of justice is slowly beginning to change, with people becoming more informed about their own rights, people becoming fed up with whatever is happening in their society. In the Naga society being a very close-knit society, we see a lot of injustices happening. Well, I think the people are now a little more enlightened about what the concept of justice means, and it also, I think the people's mindset are changing in the way that they also want to live a good life, but such incidents and such activities are hampering the way the lives of people are affected in the Naga community. So there is this close bond that now, if there is unity, then they can stand up united against such incidents, and I think moving forward and looking forward in the near future, more people will actually be more, will feel safer to report such crimes because of the backing of the local community at large.
Very true. Also, like we've been mentioning earlier, over the past few months, we have seen very strong protests with many people also showing up to express their resentment against taxation and threats. Despite this, a new incident has also come out to light, like day before yesterday's incidents. While we can't expect things to change overnight, does this suggest that the protests and rallies are failing to bring out the desired changes and that more needs to be done?
So these series of protests that have started, well, it all started in Kohima after a contractor was given a death penalty by a particular Naga political group. Well, in that protest, we could see the amount of people that turned out. Well, it was a rainy day, but if you look at the visuals that Hornbill TV had covered on the day of the Kohima protest, well, we had seen a large number of people walking in solidarity against the death penalty threat that was meted out to an individual belonging to the Angami community. Well, Nagaland has not seen such mass movements against activities of the Naga political groups, especially the illegal, the threats and the extortions. We are seeing a small change in the mindset of the Naga people these days. We seem to see that activities meted out against any individual is now the public is taking like as if these activities are targeted at one community and the community needs to stand or back the person that has been assaulted or been threatened. We also saw in Dibupar what happened where there was another threat to the Dibupar Naga Youth Organization, and just yesterday there was a huge the Dibupar Naga the village council and the Dibupar Naga Youth, they held a walkathon from Green Park and they had a program in Agri Expo field. Well, their voices were very strong and they were all very united when it came that such activity should not affect the Naga individual and should not affect any Naga person just trying to lead a simple life or trying to live according to what he seems is right. With certain elements like this, it has also come to light that people are getting more awake to such illegal activities and that they have had enough. Well, recently all the Naga political groups celebrated the Independence Day, and I think one of the clarion call of all these groups during their speeches was that the Naga movement initially started with a very positive, or rather they had a very clear idea as to why the Naga movement they had to fight for it. Well, but in the changing times we have seen the presidents of various groups stating that it's now up to the public to identify who the real national fighters are, or rather who the real Naga people are when it comes to actually moving forward with the Naga political issue. Well, they have asked the public to identify. Well, but we have got incidents that are fringe incidents that happen like this. Unfortunately, now even a leader from the church community is getting affected. Very soon, I'm sure the Nagaland Baptist Church Council will also be responding to this particular incident that took place against the assault that took place with the pastor of Yanpa Baptist. So we see that there is a collective awakening. We see that the civil society organizations are slowly beginning to understand the rule. We cannot call it a failure as a community as a whole, but we can call it, I think these small baby steps that our Naga community are taking will only lead to their community, or rather our community, getting safer day by day.
So, like you have mentioned, these movements appear to be gradually gaining strength with the community. So, do you believe this is a positive development that should be supported?
Anything, I believe, anything that happens to you, and if it is illegal, I think there should be backing of the society and the community. And I think with such steps being taken by the community against such activities, I think this is definitely a very positive sign. And also I think that people are getting more awakened to what is happening in and around their society. Well, you've got mobile phones with everybody these days. Well, recently a very popular folk artist Methanili Juthakre also came out with another song, and the title of the song is Mobile Phone. Well, now with mobile phones, I think everyone is aware of what is happening in and around their society. People are more interested to find out the day-to-day happenings in the state, and they are also willing to voice out their concerns over certain activities. Well, with the presence of social media and with the presence of digital and broadcast media, I think people are getting more aware and aware of their rights, and that it's time for them. There was a space and time when they used to keep quiet out of fear, but with the existence and with the emergence of social media, with the emergence of broadcast media in Nagaland, I think this scene is slightly changing. People are becoming more courageous in coming forward and reporting such crimes. Well, like I mentioned earlier, I think the concept of justice in the Naga society is slowly beginning to change. People are a little more aware of their rights, and the people are a little more aware of what is right and what is wrong. And we've got many people commenting too that such incidents shouldn't take place. Such incidents has been one of the factors why Naga society can't move forward. So I do believe that with more collective action, I think this would bring a positive step, and this would also check the unabated extortions and the threatening that are usually committed by these groups.
Right. Okay, like you have been mentioning that now that we Nagas are more aware of our rights, do you think that the people are becoming more vocal about extortion and threats also, particularly in situations where they feel like their government has failed them for years? Do you see this shift as a sign that people are taking matters into their own hands because they have lost faith in the authorities?
All right. When we talk about the people voicing out, yes, I do believe there is a certain change in it. There's a shift in the way we look at things that are happening in our day-to-day lives. Let's talk about the issue of one nation, one tax. Well, we've got this double taxation or multiple taxations due to the presence of so many Naga political groups. Well, I think even that common Naga who wants to move forward in life, if he wants to become an entrepreneur or business person, well, he is plagued by these taxes that are evident in the society, when it is an open secret that there are so many extortions happening but very little cases. But if you look at it, the Chamber of Commerce and Industries all over Nagaland has all supported this call, saying that there's one government and there should be one tax, and that they have now been very vocal about how they will not accept any other taxation. They will not give tax to any other group. They will only pay one single tax, and that tax will have to suffice. But from the other hand of it, the government agencies also, I think, are also slowly beginning to understand that the public is not going to keep quiet anymore. So the law enforcing agencies are also doing everything they can. Well, if you look at Nagaland DGP Rupin Sharma, he has been very vocal about why people should cooperate with the police, and when incidents like this take place, the people should cooperate and come first to the police so that the police can handle the matter. Well, like DGP Rupin Sharma said, the police cannot clap by itself. They need the cooperation of the public, and we believe that with such stern messages given out by the administration too, people are now a little more trustful towards the whole administration or the policing system, and that now they are approaching. Well, helpline numbers have come out. The police have agreed to keep the identity of the informer as a secret. They will not reveal the identity of the people who come forward and report such crimes. So these are some of the initiatives that even the administration is taking, and I think in the coming time, when people realize that the police is actually there to help them, I think people will feel more safe and comfortable in reporting. Well, ever since the death threat incident upon one of the local Angami contractor, the CFMG chairman, Ceasefire Monitoring Board chairman also, he gave a press conference and he stated that these groups are in MOU with the government of India, and there are certain ground rules that they have to follow, and that if there is an instance where these particular groups have broken the law, then those agreements stand null and void. Well, the CFMG have said, let the people come and cooperate and complain, or rather file a complaint that such things are happening. Then they can also take the matter into their hands and hold an inquiry or a SIT and make sure that certain guidelines were not broken. Well, I do believe that in the coming future, with the awakening of, or rather the awakening in our own thoughts in the Naga society, these things will have a better, there will be better response in how the administration and the common society to tackle such issues.
Right, Aki, lastly, with the monsoon session of the Assembly about to start, do you think that the Cabinet will discuss these issues during this session?
Well, I think this upcoming monsoon session of the Nagaland Legislative Assembly is going to be a very interesting one, because there are a lot of things that the Cabinet has decided to deliberate on. Well, we've got the NLTP Act, which Minister KG Kenne has informed the media that they are looking to revisit, after which the NBCC and all the branches of under the NBCC have all given out their own perception and statements stating that it would be dangerous to revisit. In fact, you should not revisit but reinstate NLTP Act. So, well, the session begins on the 27th. I do believe that this particular issue about extortions and threats will also be on the agenda of the Cabinet, and most likely there will be a discussion on this, and with the Home Minister too, Y. Patton, condemning the death threat given out to the contractor. He condemned the incident and said that such things cannot take place in Naga society and this must stop. Well, even our Naga leaders are slowly voicing out their concerns in their own personal capacity. So I think there is a chance that these issues might be discussed in the upcoming monsoon session of the Nagaland Legislative Assembly.
Right. I think that's about all. Thank you so much, Aki, for joining me today. Thank you. That was my colleague Aki Vito sharing his views, and we were discussing about the situation where amid protests going on, where people are showing their resentment against taxation, illegal taxation, extortion, and also threats by certain organizations. An incident as such again came to light day before yesterday, where a pastor of Yampa Church was assaulted by a caterer of NSCNK at a bakery at Nakuti village. And as you can see that people are protesting against all this illegal taxation, and the protests are slowly gaining their momentum, and that shows the strength that of the Nagas also, that people coming together in unity to fight against this illegal taxation. So I think that's about all. Keep watching Hornbill TV.
Cultural sustainability is an important issue that often gets overlooked. It refers to the idea of preserving and sustaining traditional cultures in the face of globalization and modernization. Sustainable tourism, alternatively, promises not only to support economic development in destinations, but also to facilitate cultural and environmental conservation in heritage sites around the world. Tourism has not always been the most sustainable endeavor. Some forms of tourism have even led to culturally and environmentally abusive and exploitative practices, from polluting to poaching. The World Tourism Organization defines sustainable tourism as tourism that takes full account of its current and future